Hey Galactic Geeks, this is Devin. So I'm gonna go see Pan tonight. Critics have been iffing on it. Personally, I'm not sure how much I like it, but I'll try it. You know, I'm willing to try. Peter Pan was a good movie. You know, I've heard Hugh Jackman is good in it. So as long as there's a few decent performances, I'm sure I'll walk out at least mildly entertained. Hopefully, it's not dreadfully bad, but you know, I'm willing to give it a shot. Even if it ends up being bad, I'll still watch it because, well, I don't know. I guess I just will. Alright, so same deal as normal, guys. I'll go to the movie. If I end up being the only person in there, I'll do a little update in there, I suppose. And after the movie, I'll let you guys know what's going on, how I liked it and stuff, and I'll give it a rating. So I'll see you guys later. Little snag there, guys. Pretty fun. So I walked in and I said, "Pan, please," and I must have said something that sounded like 2 to 3D Pan, and I didn't. I said 1 to Pan and 2D, but she must have heard 2 3D or something. And so she's like, "That'll be like $28. And I'm like, "I said 1, and then I thought she heard 2D, so I didn't say anything." And she's like, "Okay, that'll be $12. And I was like, $12? And then she swiped my card and pulled out the 3D glasses, and I was like, great. So got roped into 3D. Not a big fan. Already have a feeling I might not like this movie, so definitely not a good start. But I'll let you guys know how it is. And I am the only one in here, but I will keep you guys updated. See ya. Alright, let's get on with this. Okay, we got tricked. This is another one of those fucking gritty Disney reboots. Alright? Like Maleficent, you remember that? The retelling. And there was another one recently, I think. This is another one. It looked like maybe an honest prequel. Maybe, you know, well, there's no lore for before Peter Pan, so it looked like maybe they would be earnest and actually do it right. No, guys, we got screwed. This is another one of those really bad, gritty retellings. Okay. Spoilers. I'm gonna spoil this movie. Even have little notes about it that didn't make sense to the movie. Okay. Spoilers. Opens up. His mom leaves him on an orphanage's doorstep. 12 years later, during World War II in London, he's in a shitty orphanage, of course. Terrible nuns. Hate them, you know, don't want to take care of them, but they do, because they're nuns. Okay. Peter has a pan flute necklace that his mother gave him, and basically that is his right to be the prince or whatever, the savior, pretty much, of the native people of Neverland. Blackbeard is kidnapping orphans from London. The nuns are letting him, and he's taking them back to Neverland to be pretty much slaves in the mines and mined for fairy rock, which is basically dried fairy dust. And it never really mentions what he wants with it, other than a couple times he makes himself younger with it. But, so I guess that's what he wants with it. But, that contradicts his character in a couple ways, and I'll get to that. Okay. Before I go any farther, just some basic info. There's not much I'm going to say positive about this movie, guys, so I'm going to do it right now. The music is pretty good. They use some, Nirvana and some Blitzkrieg Bop, actually, in scenes kind of interestingly. And then the instrumental, just the score, is pretty good. Acting is so-so, depending on who it is. The guy who did Hook, not that good. Imagine a American/Australian, adventurer kind of accent, what they picture an adventurer would sound like. Like, he looks like Indiana Jones, just tamed down, and he sounds just weird. Rooney Mara as Tiger Lily, pretty good. She's really good in this. The guy who played Pan, he wasn't as annoying as he could have been, but he also wasn't great. Hugh Jackman as Blackbeard, pretty good. Like I said, there were some problems with his character, but that's not really his fault. That's more writing and possibly directing, but mostly writing. Okay, back to the story. Okay, so he gets taken to Neverland and he finds some fairy rock, which they reward you for. Guy steals it from him and claims that Peter's lying, so Peter gets put on the plank and Blackbeard kicks him off, and he starts to fly. And everyone's like, oh, there's a prophecy about a kid who can fly who will save everyone from Blackbeard and blah blah blah. The natives anyway, I don't know about the slaves. But so he falls from flying because it's the first time he's ever done it, and he wakes up in Blackbeard's bedroom, and Blackbeard gives him a really nice, touching kind of speech, and he's like, are you here to kill me, Peter? And he gives him his sword and is like, are you here to kill me, Peter? And it almost looks like he wants to die. Okay? He gives Peter his sword, asks him if he's here to kill him, and then just stands there without any hint of anger or anything in his face. So it's kind of implied that he just wants him to kill him, and Peter's like, I don't know. And then he sends Peter to jail. Peter and Hook break out of jail, and long story short, they go to find the natives, and then Blackbeard finds the natives, and he starts doing stuff and killing them and all that to find fairies and more fairy dust, because apparently the fairy dust is keeping him young, and he's all like, I want to be young, even though 30 seconds ago he wanted Peter to kill him. And just stuff like that. Okay, then he thinks all the fairies are dead. You find out they're not. They go there, there's a giant showdown. Peter learns how to fly pretty much for real now. And, just all that stuff, classic movie stuff. Now, I have some very outstanding notes I took. I'm one of those people who will not use a phone in a movie, no matter what. Even if it's just me and one other person, or even me and just me, I don't pull out my phone. This movie was so bad, I had to pull out my phone to take notes about how bad it was. Alright. Gonna start this off slow. Okay. Like I mentioned, Blackbeard gives him his sword and says, hey, are you sent here to kill me? And Peter says no, and then Blackbeard, in that second looks like he wants to die. Well, in that second he may look like he wants to die, but the rest of the movie, he's actively chasing this fairy rock stuff that, will make him younger and younger, and it appears is going to make him immortal. So, one second he wants to die, the next second and the rest of the movie up until the very end, he's like, I want this fairy rock and I will live forever and the fairies will be extinct. And then literally seconds before he dies, he's falling to his death, and he's just like, I'm ready. It's like, if you were so ready, then why the hell were you mining that fairy rock trying to live forever? What the hell, man? Okay. Some other problems I have with this movie. Okay. That scene where Peter and Hook break out of jail, the right-hand man to Blackbeard comes in and says, "Sir, the boy has escaped." And he's like, "Well, we need to find him." And he's like, "Well, his ship that he stole crashed in the Neverwood." And Blackbeard says, "The Neverwood, eh? So he's lost then." And the right-hand man says, pause for sigh, "Yes, sir, he is a lost boy." Lost boys as in, the children who are lost boys in the Peter Pan movie who dress up like animals and live in that tree. So yeah, clear reference thrown in there, but not a reference because there are no lost boys at that point. They are just lost and he's a boy. That is the extent to which they use that. Okay, that's one thing that bothered me. Number two, the CGI in a lot of these scenes was awful. There were some birds in these called like Never Birds or something, and they were awful. They looked plastic. And I mean, one of the scenes where you see them, it's daytime, and I know CGI kind of fails a little bit in the daytime, but even at night, these things look computer generated, they look plastic, they don't look real, they just look bad. And I mean, I know CGI is not perfect, you can't make everything look real sometimes, but I mean, legitimately, it's bad. If you see this movie, you know what I'm talking about. If you've seen previews, maybe they're in there, I don't remember. But just, it's bad. Alright, the flying effect, also pretty bad. Then, we have... Ooh, here's a good one. There's a big implied romance between Captain Hook and Tiger Lily throughout this entire movie. Because this is before Captain Hook becomes Captain Hook and he's evil and all that stuff. Okay. Now, here's one of those things where it kind of diverts from the source material of the original Peter Pan. Captain Hook is like an adult, and Tiger Lily is like, 13 or 14 in the cartoon. In this movie, I'd put Hook at maybe 22, probably like 26 to 30, and Tiger Lily looks like she could be anywhere from 16 to like 25, just depending on what you want her to be. Now, this is all before what happens in Peter Pan. So, obviously there's some time pass, and if I'm mistaken, no one ages in Neverland, or most people don't, or something like that. So, Tiger Lily being kind of 16-ish makes sense, but Hook being like 40 makes no sense. Okay, here's some other stuff. I said spoilers already, so please don't get mad for spoilers, but here's another one. There's a scene where Blackbeard follows, Smee rats the native people's camp out, and they come in and kill a bunch of people, and they gather the most importance, like the chief and the chieftain and all that, and Tiger Lily and all that, and they gather them in the brow to execute them. So they kill the chief, Tiger Lily's father, by the way. Oh wait, Tiger Lily's father, he's alive in the cartoon. What the fuck are you doing, Pan? I can understand wanting to change some stuff, but you can't change stuff like whole characters being alive or dead. Alright. Sorry. Now. Shit. Okay. He's not only dead, but as soon as Blackbeard kills him, he looks over to Tiger Lily and he says, "Well, if it isn't Little Miss Chiefette," implying, she's now the fucking chief of her tribe. Which, fun fact, she's not in the fucking cartoon because her dad is still alive. Like, what the hell? You just fucking... They don't bring the dad back in the end either, Like, nothing happens to make the status quo go back.
Like, they must have written themselves into a corner or something, but, you know, there's no way. It just made no sense. And sorry if I seem to get a little angry about this, but that is you can't even argue that that's not a major plot point. Like, the whole reason that Peter and the kids get saved in Peter Pan is because they save Tiger Lily, and so the chief is like, many thanks, you know. Also, kidnapping Tiger Lily. Hook and her have a very, you know, odd relationship in this movie. It's hinted at romance and stuff, which I assume will come after this movie, because, fun fact, Hook's not evil at the end of this movie. He's still a good guy. So, I assume that romance will come in the future, but she's only like 16 and he's however old he is. And I assume because of the cartoon he gets older and she doesn't. Also, he fucking kidnaps her in the cartoon. If they were romantically involved, why would he kidnap her? You know? Like, why? What's going on there? Okay. Some other ones I have. Mermaids. They don't speak in this movie. It's not said that they can't speak, but they don't. They don't show them talking in this movie. Second of all, they're jellyfish, apparently. Their fucking tails are jellyfish. There's a scene with a crocodile. There's a chase scene with a crocodile in this movie, and Pan's being dragged down to the bottom of the river or the ocean or whatever by this crocodile. And then some mermaids come up and look at Pan, and they're like, we'll save him. And then they brush their tails against the gator's head, and he's just like, let's go. And you hear like a little shocky noise. So, pretty much mermaids are jellyfish. Mute jellyfish, even though they're not mute in the cartoon, and they're not jellyfish. Also, they have the ability to play movies in the water. It's called Memories or whatever, but there's a scene where Tiger Lily is showing Peter how his mother died, and she's like, the mermaids can capture memories in the waters, and then they like go underwater, and they basically watch a movie of how his mother died and stuff, and it's like, great, so they have all these magical abilities, but they can't talk, even though they can in the cartoon, and they're jellyfish, which they're not in the cartoon. Consistent. Yay! Alright, we got some other ones. Destiny. This was a big one I had a problem with. I don't think every single thing anymore has to be, they're destined for this, they're destined for that. But that's what everything seems to be anymore. Okay, Pan is destined to be Pan because of who his parents are and the prophecy. The prophecy is very specific, actually. It says the boy whose father is a fairy prince and his mother is a human girl will have a child, and he will leave this world, and when he comes back, he will be able to fly, and he'll be Blackbeard. It even mentions the goddamn fact that he left, or he didn't choose to leave, they took him to the real world, but, you know, just like, oh my god, you even built in the fact that he left into your, okay, Destiny, I'm getting a little tired of Destiny. Okay. Like I mentioned, the whole, gives him the sword, and is like, do you want to kill me? And then Pan's like, no. Let's see. Okay, this is a good one too. At the end of the movie, after Peter believes in himself and learns how to fly, and he kills Blackbeard, and you would think, makes it sound like he sets everything right, he takes the pirate ship and he flies it back to the real world. And he drops Ropes in the orphanage, and he picks up all the orphans who are being mistreated by the nuns and stuff. You know, they're not being, like, full-on harassed by the nuns, but, you know, they're only getting slop to eat, and they have to do stuff like climb on the super high roofs and clean the gutters, even if they're afraid of heights and stuff. Also, fun fact, here's a thrown-in plot point for you. Peter's afraid of heights, but he can fly. So, you know, he has to get over his fear of heights in order to be able to fly and stuff. But anyway, So he goes back and he drops ropes for all the orphans, and they all climb up to his pirate ship with him, and, you know, right as the mean old nun slams the door in, and she's like, Peter, and he's like, haha, you know, and he flies up to the ship, and, you know, you assume that they're taking these guys back to Neverland, and you assume that they're going to become the Lost Boys. Number one, I have a huge problem with this fact. He picks up like 50 kids. In the movie, there's like 6 or 7 Lost Boys. So, like, 40 of them fucking die. I don't know if you could hear me because I just whispered. 40 of them die! Not to mention all the slave people who were Blackbeard slaves who are not slaves anymore because Blackbeard's dead. So, I don't even know, they never resolve that. Like, they never go back and show what happens to them. Which, some of the orphans were there too because they were already taken. But, anyway, so, I assume they're meant to be the Lost Boys, the people he picks up at the end. But like I said, there's like 40 of them that have to die in order for that to make sense. Also, they don't dress like animals, at least yet. So they have to become furries at some point. And let's not forget the fact that they're called Lost Boys in the movie, but the only reference for that in this universe is the right-hand man of Blackbeard, who's dead, and the right-hand man is dead, saying it when Peter was nowhere around, and no one told Peter that he said that. That's supposedly their name. Yeah, I have a little hard time believing that. You know, Lost Boys isn't that, you know, special. You know, it's pretty generic. Someone could probably come up with it. But just, like, forcing references in there like that? Come on, guys. Okay. Also, yeah, so that's that. I'm gonna have to give this movie a pretty bad rating, guys, and I didn't want to. I wanted this to be good. I think I even put in my upcoming videos for the movies for the rest of the year. I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 10. Maybe 3.5. Yeah, so I'm gonna give this like a 3.5 out of 10. Now, it hurts me to do that because I really had high hopes for this movie, guys, but it was so bad. So bad. Yeah. But anyway, in other news, Quixodo and I finally got together and we made a challenge video. It's called the Don't Laugh Challenge. We had water in our mouths full, and we would read funny things, and whoever, you know, would do a spit take essentially first lost. And we had our friend Clayton do that with us. He also goes by Psychedelic. That's his rap name. He's a rapper, and I think we mentioned at the end of that video where you can find all of our stuff, so I won't go into that detail. But I just wanted to mention that we did do that. We did today, actually, earlier today. So I'm not sure if this will make it up before that or if that will make it up first, but they'll both be up soon. So yeah, go ahead and look at Quixodo's stuff. It's pretty good. Hopefully we'll do some more challenge videos here, and maybe we'll even be guest stars on each other's channels. I know he's going to have a version of the video. I'm going to have a version of the video. Go ahead and subscribe to me, like the video, leave a comment if you disagree or agree with any of the stuff I said about the movie. Like I said in the last one, and I'll say it probably every time I review a movie, I honestly like conversations like this. So if you guys have a problem with a movie or something I say, or you think I didn't say something, or I left something out, you know, tell me. I genuinely pride myself on stuff like this, and I like to get in discussions like that. So if you think I left something out or I give this movie too much flack, let me know. But yeah, comment, like, go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to be doing some more videos soon besides just reviews. I've been on a lot of reviews lately, but I'll probably do another what if here kind of soon. So if you have an idea for that, drop it in the comments, and I'll see you guys later.